What's up guys, welcome back to the channel, and today I am back with another video. This time once again, we're looking at Ja Morant, one of the best young superstars in the entire NBA. And in today's video, we're going to look at 3 big mistakes Ja is making in this year's playoffs. So with that being said, let's get right into it. So when talking about Ja Morant, the first big mistake I see him making is being on social media so much, specifically Twitter. And I'm not going to condemn a grown man for being on his phone, but for a superstar NBA player who's under the spotlight 24/7, I think being on Twitter so much, specifically after games, is a bad look for a young superstar. And when speaking of social media, specifically Twitter, it's a toxic wasteland of unhappy people. And in Ja's case, when things are going good, it's going to be a great experience for him on social media. But when things go bad, it's going to be vile and downright brutal. And as a young player, tweeting so much, opening yourself up to the public, it can be fun, but it's also a tightrope act where people are waiting for you to fail and have a misstep. And for clear-cut proof of that already, look at Ja's first round series versus Minnesota. In that series offensively, Ja was something spectacular, averaging 22, 11, and 9, with his team winning in 6 games. Despite that great play, Ja Morant still got killed on social media for dancing on the logo, tweeting after games, and not having his best series when it comes to shooting the basketball. And some fans even said Ja wasn't the best player on his own team. That's what you get on social media as a big-time superstar who's vocal. You yourself become prominent, but your haters and detractors latch onto you, and you're a big target for unhappy people on a toxic site. And think of some of the best NBA players in the league, like Luka Doncic, Jokic, Kawhi Leonard, Giannis, Steph Curry, even Tatum. Those guys online are very rarely, if ever, outspoken, and they don't tweet like a 13-year-old girl. If I was Ja going forward, that's the approach I would take when it comes to fans as well as Twitter. And the last thing regarding social media, when it comes to the overall basketball team, Ja's antics on and off the court could be viewed as a distraction and simply unnecessary. And once again, some Twitter NBA fans have called Ja cocky as well as arrogant for his gimmicks on the court. Me personally, him dancing on the logo and celebrating doesn't bother me in the slightest. But for the 1000th time on social media, everything's amplified, and your haters once again have a big voice due to your platform. Now, looking at Ja's second mistake, this deals with more the on-the-court aspect versus the Golden State Warriors. Now, I would say this mistake is trash-talking a dynasty and one of the marquee players. And as the old saying goes, don't poke the bear. Now, unfortunately for Ja in this series, as well as Memphis, they poked the bear multiple times, and so far have gotten the claws. In Game 1 of this series, Draymond had a flagrant 2. Game 2, Dillon Brooks had a hard foul Gary Payton II. And in Game 3, Jordan Poole had the grab on Ja Morant's knee. So far in this series, it's been chippy, there's been a lot of trash talking, as well as dirty plays and cheap shots. And when it comes to those cheap shots, the last one I listed was Jordan Poole and his knee grab of Ja Morant. Out of all the dirty plays in this series, this one is far from the worst. And for me personally, I don't think Jordan Poole is a prime Ronnie Coleman who can rip Ja's knee apart with a little touch and a pull. But Ja Morant, as well as Taylor Jenkins, tried to paint Jordan Poole as a dirty player who did this intentionally. And once again, this controversy comes back to Twitter as well as social media, as Ja late in the night tweeted out this, saying Jordan Poole, quote-unquote, broke the code. Now once again, Jordan Poole is a great player, he's a pretty strong guy, but he's not a massive LeBron James or Karl Malone who's jacked to the gills. I don't think Jordan Poole could hurt Ja that bad with one little tap. And if you want to get very nitpicky, very specific, with the quote-unquote dirty plays, let's look at Ja Morant himself in Game 1, trying to trip Steph Curry. This play until last night had gone unnoticed and under the radar, until Ja tweeted out, broke the code. once again showing social media is a net negative for an NBA superstar. And my last real point in this category goes out to the whole Memphis team. When you're a young, fearless team with a lot of energy, you still have to read the room and understand your opponent. You're playing the Golden State Warriors. They've been to 5 NBA Finals, they've won 3 championships, and they're proven superstars with Hall of Fame talent. You cannot, and I repeat, you cannot give this team bulletin board material and motivate them even more than they already are. And of course, Memphis already has broken that, as Golden State now is motivated to kill them and destroy them in this series. Now, at this point in the video, you're probably saying, this guy hates Ja Morant. But I'm sorry, that's far from the case. If anything, I'm too much of a fan of this guy, and I want success for him too bad. And that brings us to mistake number 3, once again dealing with his on-the-court play. Now, of course, stats-wise and highlights-wise, Ja Morant has been absolutely fantastic, averaging 27, 9, and 7 on roughly 45% shooting. That for Ja has been fantastic. But if you watch the games, some of the things I see are very concerning. Specifically, with him drawing fouls, him diving on the floor, hitting screens, and the constant body blows he gets from going in the paint and getting around defenders. And why this concerns me is because Ja isn't the biggest guy in the world, and he is kind of slight for an NBA player. He's still a freak athlete, but he's not crazy built. And one of the players he is compared to is Derrick Rose. And of course, D Rose unfortunately had his prime cut short before it even started at age 22. And Ja right now is the exact same age, getting a lot of D Rose comparisons. So what I would advise for Ja Morant, try to be a little more careful, not as reckless, and just understand your body is going to be this good forever. I'm not wishing injury on anybody, but Ja Morant definitely scares me when he goes up for those one-handed dunks, or when he lands awkwardly with his knees and his ankles. That stuff totally freaks me out, because back in the day, I was a massive D Rose fan. Now, with that final point being made, that is 3 mistakes Ja Morant is making in this year's postseason. They're easily fixable, and going forward he'll definitely improve them, as once again, he's only 22 years old. So as always, thank you guys for watching, hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you guys next time.